Hey, welcome back. In this video, we will discuss about the list in Python. Okay, so lists are used to store multiple items in a single variable inside of Python. Okay, in other programming languages, we have the similar data structure, which is the arrays. In case if you have some experience with JavaScript, there we have the arrays. So list in Python is the equivalent of the arrays in the other programming languages. Okay. Now, some of the things which we have to remember while using the list is that lists are ordered. Okay, when we say that lists are ordered, it means that the items have a defined order and that order will not change. Okay, if you want to add new items to a list, the new items will be placed at the end of the list. We will see how we can add new items inside of a list. Okay. So, for example, what we want to just store 3 fruit names. So, if we want to do that, what we can do something like fruit 1, okay, equals to apple, okay, fruit 2 equals to something like orange, and fruit 3 equals to, we can do banana, okay, and so on and so forth. So what we can do, we can declare 3 variables and we can store inside of each of the variables the data for our fruit, okay, or the name of our fruit, which is good. But how we can use a list here? We can use a list by doing something like this. So what we can do something like fruit list, fruit underscore list equals to, or fruits, okay, underscore list. And here what we can do, we have to open up the square brackets, and inside of that we can write our variable names. So fruit 1 comma fruit 2 comma fruit 3, okay. So this is a list here, okay. So now if I just now print something like fruit, not the fruit 3 but fruit list, okay. So now let's see what we get. So run the program. As you can see, we are getting apple, orange and banana inside of these square brackets. So this is the structure for the list in Python, okay. And also you don't have to declare a variable previously to declaring a list. What we can do something like my list equals to, we can open up the square brackets and then we can do something like ABC. We can add some sort of a string, we can add a boolean, okay. Then we can add a number, something like 5, we can add a decimal number 6.4, and so on and so forth, okay. We can add another list inside of a list as well. So that is how we can use the list, okay. So this is a totally valid list as well. So if I just print the my list, okay, run the program, as you can see we are getting this one, which is good, okay. So what I'll do, I'll just, okay, shrink down this a little bit. All right, so this is how the list works, okay. So whenever we want to add multiple variables at once, we can use the list. Whenever we want to add multiple data at once inside of a single variable, we can use the list to do so, okay. So one of the other things which I want to point out here is that we can allow duplicates inside of a list, okay. So if I just add another true and a false here, okay, and run the program once again, as you can see the duplicates are not getting removed, okay. So inside of the list the duplicates are allowed, okay. All right, and there is a reason behind that, because the lists are indexed just like the strings, Okay, we will see the indexing of the list in the upcoming videos. Okay, now one of the other things which I want to point out here is that how we can get the length of the list. Okay, so previously while discussing about the strings, we have discussed the len function. So the len function works with the lists as well. So what we can do, we can wrap around len, and inside of that we can do something like this. So what exactly it will provide us? This len function will give us the length of the array. So here we are having 1, 2, and 3 items. So the length of the array of this one, the fruits list, will be 3. So run the program. As you can see, we are getting 3 here. Okay. So this is the len function, which works with the strings as well as with the arrays. Okay. So now, as you can see here, the list items can be of any data type. Okay. So it can be string, it can be boolean, it can be numbers, and so on and so forth. So which is good. Okay. Now let's print the type of the list. So for this one, let's do the type, and inside of that, if I just run the program right now, so we are getting the class of list. Okay, so list has its own type, which is list. All right, so in case if you forgot, like this is the type function. By using the type function, we can get the type of any sort of a variable. Okay, so here my list is a list variable, right? So that is why we are getting list here. Once again, don't worry about the class. We will discuss about the classes while discussing about the object-oriented programming in Python. Okay, so now let's discuss one of the other ways how we can create a list. So we have seen that in action when we have been working with the ranges and the enumerate function. Okay, so if you remember, I have done something like r equals to range of 10 and print. If we just print the r, if I just do that, run the program, we are getting the range. But if we want to have the list representation of the range, what we can do something like list and then r here. Okay, so this is the list function or the list constructor. Okay, when we will be discussing about the object-oriented programming, this constructor part will be a little bit more clear to you. But currently right now you can think of like, hey, this is another function. Okay, so by using the list constructor, we can do the same thing as well, like create an array. So how we can do that? So let's do something like fruits list once again equals to, what we can do list, and inside of that we have to open up another pair of parentheses basically, and here we can do apple, banana, and cherry. Okay, something like that. All right, so what I'll do, I will print the fruits list. Okay, and once again, I think, yes, I believe this is the one. So what I'll do, I'll just comment out this one and comment out this one as well. Okay, so that we are not having any sort of name clashes. All right, so now if I just run the program, as you can see, we are getting apple, banana, and cherry, just like before, right? So in this way, by using the list constructor function, we can create another list. But I usually don't do something like this. I usually go with this approach. Okay, because yeah, this is lengthy and it is harder to read, right? All right, so this is the lists in Python. Okay, and in the upcoming videos, we will be discussing about the functions which the lists offer and how we can loop through the list and so on and so forth. Okay, all right.